And we are live. So, greetings, everyone. A warm welcome from Let Us Talk It team. So, my name is Phil, and I'll be hosting the Let Us Talk It Zipinar for today. So, why we call it Zipinar? Because, like a zipper, we try to zip in two topics in just one session, just to shorten the time consumed in gathering additional knowledge, but giving you more information in just one go. So, this initiative is made possible by Cogent Integrated Business Solutions. So, they're based in Detroit, Michigan. They're an IT company and they do like IT services and all stuff. And they just wanted to give back to the community. And the best way to do it is to share free knowledge because knowledge is something that no one can take away from you. Information is everywhere using the internet, but if you listen to seasoned professionals like the guest speakers that we invite with their own perspective, their own ways of overcoming the obstacles and acquiring knowledge and the details that they have um, made in terms of their success or where they are now. So it's the information becomes more valuable. So this is what we share here in Let Us Talk It Zipiners. So to give you the first topic that we have today is we have managing expectations. So this is about like we all have some or the other expectations from each other, and when they are not met, relations are spoiled. And today we will learn how to manage expectation in both ways. And here with us to talk with us about this topic is a founder of Association of Trainers, wherein he is in this industry since year 2000 and has trained more than 30,000 people of junior, mid, and senior level. And his training sessions are interactive and engaging with management games, facilitation tools, and use simple jargon, Greek, Hindi, and English language. And without further ado, here we present you Sir Arun Chitlangya to present the first topic.
Thank you very much for this invite, and I'm so happy to be here and very happy to see another interesting topic to be delivered by Arundhati. So, as much as I'm eager to start my topic, I'm equally eager to listen to her views on very interesting topic. So, let's get started with the topic, a very interesting topic because all of us have to deal with this every day, number of times in a day. All of us, all of us have expectations from each other, whatever may be the relation. It could be husband and wife, it could be mother and child, it could be boss and say subordinate, it could be a customer and vendor. Any relation you look at it, and you will find there are some expectations from each other. Now, there are three possibilities in this situation when we have certain expectations. I may have some expectation from you, you may have some expectation from me. When I have some expectation from you, three possibility. First is that I'm not able to meet your expectation. So you are expecting something very high. This all even happens in sports. My favorite cricket team, I would always have some expectation in IPL. They should cross 200 and this and that particular player, I will say this player has to hit a century today. So those expectations are there. Now, if they are not able to reach to that level, if they are not able to fulfill my expectation, then I feel dejected. I'm not happy. And a lot of things may happen about which we'll talk about. But that is the first possibility that the person is not able to meet the expectations. Second possibility is it is at par. That means the expectation has been just met, neither too much on high side nor on the lower side. Now, what happens then? And the third situation is when we exceed the expectation. So you may have expected whatever it is, but we are going to deliver more. And today in this session, I'm sure that me and Arundhati both are going to exceed the expectations. Whatever our audience are expecting, we'll do our best to deliver so much that it exceeds your expectation. Let's see. Um, I'm sure it will happen. Let's see how it happens. Coming back to these three possibilities, very important thing to note and understand is that what would happen, what will be the consequences if I am not able to meet the expectations other people have from me. Now, it could be anybody, as we discussed earlier. It could be my spouse, it could be family members, vendor customer relationship, boss, any relationship. If I'm not able to fulfill that expectation, what may have, what may result into? First possibility is rejection. I'm rejected. So let's say I go for a job interview. The interviewer is having certain expectation. I don't meet it completely. I'm rejected. Even in personal relationship, this may happen. That I want a person to be like someone, and the person do not happen to be the same, and I mentally or actually reject the person. Second possibility is dissatisfaction. Very common example would be a customer related relation where I have certain expectation of a service or quality of a product. It is not met and I'm dissatisfied. And then I will do a lot of things because I'm dissatisfied, like negative publicity or whatever. Another thing that may come up is arguments. We may have argument. So let's say I go to a restaurant, I'm having my lunch or dinner, and the steward do not serve me the way I expected. It happens that if you go to a very ordinary restaurant, your expectations are low. But you go to high profile restaurant, naturally your expectations are very high. And this fellow do not fulfill my expectation, then I may say something, the person may respond in a particular way, then again I say something, it may get converted into argument. So this may happen. And it sometimes it could be ugly argument also. Or it could get converted into complaint. So if I have a forum where I can complain about that person, then possibly I will go there and lodge my complaint, which will be negative part on the person who is providing me service or whatever. Further going, there could be demands, right? So someone may, you know, uh, get, let's say, tenders, right? We have government tenders, personal companies also give tender. There is expectation is complete the work in so and so time. And if you don't do that, there are certain penalties that are in. So whether it is a legal term or not, there may be situation where there is a demand from the other party because I have not met the expectation. And further going to this level, it could be agitation, right? So when you are a popular person, you are a political figure or something like that, then there is a high possibility that because you could not meet the expectations, there is a agitation. It has gone in at a very large level. And there could be many more. These are the main points that comes to mind. So that is where we are if we are not able to fulfill the expectations. Let's go to the next level. Suppose it is just at par. So there's a very nice phrase in Hindi. It says, आओ तो welcome, नहीं तो भीड़ कम. आओ तो welcome or नहीं तो भीड़ कम. That means if you come, it's okay. If you are not coming, so let's say there is a party, you are invited. If you go there, it's okay. Okay, welcome. A dry welcome. If you don't come, nobody asks you why you didn't arrive at all. Things like that. So it doesn't make any difference to the other party whether you are there or you are not there. You are fulfilling it or not fulfilling it. So everything is neutral. There is no complaints like in the first situation, but there is no charm either, right? Third situation is a very happy situation. That is when I am able to exceed the expectations of other people. So the advantage is that people are happy with me, good relations, good customers, right? Everyone is praising, nobody can find a fault in you. So a lot of good points. But there is one challenge also. It's not a bad point, it is a challenge. The challenge is that the expectations keeps on rising. So suppose I'm a student and my parents wanted me to get some 70% marks. And somehow I make a lot of effort and I get 70. Next time, next year, do you think they will again expect 70? No way. Now they will expect 75 or 80. You achieve 80, they will expect 85. You achieve that, so they'll mange more. They will ask more and more and more. And at one point of time, you will say, my God, now what to do? Because I'm doing better and better, and there's more pressure on me. So I'm inviting trouble. So, friends, actually, it is not trouble. It is you are upgrading yourself, you are refining yourself, you are doing better and better. And you're going to that level where possibly other people cannot compete with you. So it looks hard. Yes, it is a lot of hard work, but it is beneficial also. So, but we have to remember this, that the more you fulfill other people's expectations, it is likely that the level will go up. It will go to the next level. And then you have to meet that, because that is now normal. What is today uh, better than normal, tomorrow it will become normal. And it will go on every cycle. So, this is the mechanism we have to understand. Now, once we understand this mechanism, very important thing is how to do about it. So, what happens, we understood. But how to manage these expectations? Because sometimes it may be reasonable, sometimes it may not be unreasonable, sometimes it is very easy for me, sometimes it may be difficult, there may be cost attached, a lot of challenges are there. So meeting expectations, we all know it's not that simple. If it was that simple, everyone would have met everyone's expectations, and we would not have been running this session today, right? So it is difficult, I accept it. But there is a process, there are some steps, there are actually 8 steps. If we follow these 8 steps, it will become very easy for us to manage expectations from both sides. My expectation from other people and others' expectation from me. Both ways I can manage it better. I'm not guaranteeing that everything will be all right. It will be very, goody goody picture. It's life. It never happens like that. But I can definitely assure you that the situation will be much better than today, because you know the basic principles. We will also talk about that whatever remedy I'm recommending, these 8 points that I'm recommending, what are the difficulties in, converting these into action. It's very much similar to morning walk or nutritious food. Everyone knows what to do, but still it is difficult to do, right? So these 8 points are important. The first one in the series is define your expectations. I need to define my expectation. I can't assume that you would understand it. Especially it happens in the close relations. I would say, especially if I talk about my relation with my wife, there are certain things I would say, you should know. You're living with me for so and many years. You should know what I require at what time. But what I'm doing is, I'm not defining it. Now, whose mistake? Could be either side, but the responsibility is mine, because I have the expectation. I should define it, right? Similarly, if someone else is having certain expectation from me and they are not defining it, then can I make them define? Can I request them to define? Now you may ask me a question: why both ways responsibility is mine? That means when I have expectation, I should define. When they have expectation from me, ideally they should define, but if they don't, again I should define. So both ways I am responsible. Yes, friends. It's a very, I can't explain why and how, but this is the way it is, that both ways you have to ensure, because you don't have control on the other person, but you have control on yourself. So you have to ensure that you define it well, and you make other party define well, because that gives the clarity. Otherwise, it is vague. Otherwise, it is, you don't even know whether I achieved it or not. So let's say if I say, I want to earn a lot of money. Now, what is a lot of money? Is it 1 crore? Is it 1.5? Is it 2? It is 5? Is it 10? God knows. Even after earning 1 crore rupees, I may say, no, it's nothing. After 10 also, I'm not satisfied. So where it will stop, we don't know. But once I define whatever figure it may be, then I know whether I achieved it or I didn't. And that's the reason defining is very important. So first you define in your mind what I want, what the other party wants. Then now this, even this is difficult, but still more difficult is now to come second point. That is, communicate. Communicate your expectation. I have to tell you what I want or what I expect from you. And here you will find a lot of lapses are there. Sometimes people don't realize that I need to communicate. Sometimes they don't know how to communicate. And sometimes they feel that what is there to communicate, it should be understood. So that expectation on expectation is that you should understand. Now that is where the problem is. Now generally, if you look at our normal day-to-day conversation or relations, you will notice that people don't communicate, and even if they communicate, they don't communicate well. That this is my expectation from you. Even a sales manager will ask the salesman that I want more sales. How much more? Okay, I've given you target, but what about the target? Is it realistic or no? The sales manager thinks it is realistic. The sales person thinks it is not realistic. So there is no agreement, right? So, but first of all, is it communicated? So communication is very important. Normally, people don't communicate, but we have to ensure that we communicate, and we communicate in a way that the other party understands. It should not be vague. It should not be, a lot of full of assumptions. No, very clear cut expectation that this is why what I want or I expect from you. Now, what will happen once we communicate it and the other party understands it? So you have to get that feedback. You have to get that acknowledgement that yes, I understood what you want. Do you think they will agree every time for everything? Both ways, whether I have to give or I have to receive. Will they just agree? I'm sure that most of the time they won't. Every time, usually our expectations are high from other people, and when it comes to delivering, then we want them to have lower expectation. That's a general human tendency. Now, my point here is that even if I define, even if I convey to the person, will they agree? And will they agree at heart? If they just agree on face of it from outside, it's not enough. Will they agree at heart? My assumption, my understanding is that most of the time people don't. Once again, suppose there is a boss and a junior person, and boss tells the junior in a very dominating way that this is what I want to achieve. Will the junior person have the guts to say that, sorry, sir, it's not possible, it's not practical, it is not reasonable? They'll just say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. So there is no agreement, or there is no real agreement. So there has to be true agreement. But what if that true agreement is not there? So if the true agreement is not there, the next step, the fourth statement, or rather fifth statement, is to negotiate. We have to negotiate. Okay, you are expecting so and so from me. I won't be able to do that much, but at least I can do this much. Is it okay? So both parties have to communicate and then come to a conclusion that this is what we have agreed. Because once you have agreed, then situation becomes completely different. Without your agreement, there may be gap between what you expect and what the other person is saying. Having the agreement, now the things are becoming relatively more comfortable, relatively more easier. That once you have agreed, now you have to perform. That means you have to do that task. Then you have to do your best to achieve to that level which you have committed. Again, sometimes yes, you will achieve. Sometimes you will not. Sometimes it will be just achieved. Now, time to time, if it is a one-time issue on the completion, if it is a continuous program, then periodically you have to review the progress. That what is happening. We have committed for so and so thing. So far, where has it arrived? And what is the likelihood that it will be completely achieved or not at the end of the period? So this review is the situation where it should be. And then we come to the seventh point, that is reward. We need to reward the person. Rewards could be two types, positive and negative. Positive is, of course, the award, money, praise, or anything. Negative is punishment, some kind of punishment because you could not perform. So, depending on the situation, you have to decide whether I want to reward positively or negatively. My recommendation would be, as much as possible, please give them positive rewards. And also, I would like to add here that more than monetary rewards, emotional rewards are more valued. Only in a very difficult situation, or after repeated efforts, if things are not working out, then only introduce negative rewards. But as much as possible, stick to the positive rewards. So you have to give them rewards. And finally, now the last step again is a bit difficult. Finally, ask for the feedback from the person. Have I met your expectations? Whatever may be reply, it could be yes, no, somewhat, whatever. That reply is very much valuable for you, because then you know what is the satisfaction level of the other person. And that is what builds up good relation. That is what builds up future business, because we will do business with only those people, those companies where our previous expectations were met. Take the example of a airline. You travel with a particular airline, you have certain expectations. If they are not met, what do? Return flight, you'll find some other airline, right? And your experience counts. Whatever other people say, you will not consider that. You will believe more on your own experience. So in any department of life, this feedback becomes very important, and it also shows that I'm concerned, I care for. Again, could be business scenario, could be personal life. The care is very important. Human emotions are very important. So the best benefit that may come out from this learning of managing expectation is better relation, better emotions, and better quality of life. And of course, when you do all these things, it is better business also. So personal life, professional life, both ways, we can achieve a lot of benefits if we follow these simple principles. I'm not saying they're easy. Some of them are difficult, but they're simple. So please make an effort to follow these as much as possible. Just for the sake of reminder, I will repeat all those 8 points. First is define, second is communicate, third is negotiate, fourth is agreement, fifth is execute, and sixth is review, and then is reward and the feedback. If you follow these steps, I'm sure that you will have a lot of peace of mind. You will uh, improvise on meeting other people's expectation. Good luck to you and all the best. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was really a very agreeable and like timely context as well that you have shared, Sir Arun. Like there has been content creators be like publishing such scenarios wherein they just agree to their bosses and then afterwards they complain like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna do this? It's hard to to reach or whatnot. Like the goal is unrealistic. Like yeah, it's very yeah relatable. Yes, definitely that's the word. All right. Well, thank you so much for that delivery of the scenarios that you have shared. And well, has there been like as a trainer, maybe you have also experienced such expectations in the services that you do? Like, what were the most challenging aspect of your work, and how were you able to overcome it? To overcome those, Sir Aaron?
Yeah, very, very interesting question, because as I was sharing one thought over this topic, expectations, the more you meet the expectation, it goes higher up. So
Yeah.
in my training, I do my best to, deliver the best. Now, the result is that next time the same client would expect that this is what you did last time. Let's do something new, something different, something better this time. Now, every day, what and from where to bring something to upgrade yourself. So
Yeah.
that becomes a constant challenge, which I'm facing since years and still I'm facing every day. Right. So, one mantra that I have followed for myself is that to determine the moment you get a assignment, the moment I get an assignment, I remind myself that Arun, your session today should be the best session of your life. Till yesterday, whatever you did is all right, but now you have to do better. So I have to do a little more research. I have to find out some more methods, maybe some more stories, maybe some more examples, whatever. But then ensure that I can deliver at least a little bit better. If I can't do a lot of betterment, it's okay, but at least little bit. And then it goes up. So yes, it is a challenge that gives me a lot of pressure, but I think it's a positive pressure. It's working good for.
All right. And wow, great. Thank you so much for that one. So yes, indeed. Uh, uh, is there the attendees or yes or I'm sorry, Arundhati? Well, would you like to ask question or add opinion? you wish?
No, I think it was a very, very insightful session because as a coach, when I even talk about setting boundaries, expectations is the base of it. How do you define it, what it is, how do two parties agree to it? And it was very insightful, Arunji, in terms of the 8 steps, because we think it's obvious at times, but it's not so obvious. When you list it out, it was like, okay, yes, this is what needs to get done, but it's not always that. So thank you for that, because it's helpful for us to always come back to basics and revisit that. So really appreciate that it's in 8 steps. So no questions, but the fact that the framework works, I think that's great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's not
I'm happy
every
that you like
like
it.
it's not every day that everybody talks about the obvious, right? So, like a reminder is a great help. Okay, well that concludes the first topic that we have today. Anything you'd like to promote, Sir Arun?
Uh, Promote good relations, right? Uh, Promote this topic itself, that manage expectations of each other, that clarity. I'm focusing a lot on the clarity, especially that communication part. Lot of miseries in our life is because we don't communicate, we assume, and thereafter all these things happens. And yeah, I would like to solve other people's problem at a professional level, at a personal level, maybe individually, maybe in groups. So anybody facing any kind of difficulty, you are welcome to get connected. Thank you.
Definitely. You can search Arun Chitlangya on LinkedIn, send a connection, send a message to get connected with Sir Arun. All right, then. That's perfect. Thank you so much for the very concise and on point discussion for the first topic. Now, moving forward, we will have our next topic for this session. And the next topic that we will talk about is growing with the GROW model, GROW. And the GROW model is this is by Sir John Whitmore, and it is a foundation of goal setting and achievement. And in this session, our guest will walk us through the practical application of this framework and how this will help us achieve our goals. And our speaker or our guest is a founder and coach, ACCICF at Rathi, RATHEE, and a seasoned professional with almost a decade of experience in the healthcare and medical media sector. And her name is Arundhati Govikar. So we have to be very careful because both our speaker is a name Arun, but she is Arundhati and founder of Rathi and a training and coaching initiative focused towards the healthcare industry. And also, our speaker has an expansive experience from leading one of the largest healthcare drives in India to working closely with pharmaceutical companies to develop marketing strategies for their brands and also work in senior leadership positions in this industry. So, before I present to you our speaker, a question for her is to give us a little bit about her background also, and yes, when did he start about sharing this knowledge and talking as well in with her expertise. So let's welcome Arundhati.
Thank you for the introduction. And Arunji, thank you for that. I'm going to try to be as succinct and as concise so that, our viewers take away the crux of what I have to say. Of course, I'm Arundhati. I'm a leadership and performance coach. I have a brand called Rathi, and we focus on coaching initiatives for the healthcare sector. But I do work in an individual capacity across all sectors, all designations, all age groups. And today, what I have for you is, in fact, the GROW model. And the GROW model is by Sir John Whitmore, it's not mine. Um, and the GROW model is the foundation of any goal setting and any goal achievement module that you want to go after. And the reason I want to do this with you today is because I want it to be a practical takeaway. Because, of course, we can log on the internet, we can find the model, we can read about it. But today, I sort of want you to give you a flavor of what it actually is. And 30 minutes is a short time. So I'm going to try and concise everything for you. But how do I apply it in my day to day life? I want it to be sort of a practical takeaway from you for you. And the reason I want to do it is because in my decade and more of experience, I have encountered so many models. But when someone handholds or someone explains to me that how it's to be used in my daily life, whether personal or professional, because it's a goal achievement model. It can be either for a personal goal or it can be for a professional goal. It can be very empowering to understand how it actually works. While I pull up the presentation, if you have a pen and paper handy, please grab that. If you're on your laptop and you want to open up a notepad, please go ahead and do that. If you're on your cell phone and you want to record notes or type it out, please go ahead and do that, because as I go through the model, I would love for you to sort of also work with me on it so that you get a flavor of how it's to be applied. So I'm going to jump right into what GROW model is. Of course, GROW is an acronym for what I'm going to present. And the first thing is the goal statement itself. And drawing from what Arunji said, the first step is definition, whether expectation or a goal. We need to be able to articulate what that is. And the first thing when we talk about articulating a goal, and when we talk about NLP, or, there are concepts which say that we manifest what we speak, what we say, what we think. Words have power. So when we're articulating our goal, the first thing to keep in mind is the fact that words have power. And framing a goal in a simple positive sentence. The reason for this is, and you can go ahead and look that up as well, the subconscious mind does not register negatives. So, for example, if I have a goal of wanting to wake up early, a goal statement of I want to wake up early is a good goal statement versus I do not want to wake up late, because my subconscious mind does not pick up the not. So then it's processing information of I do want to wake up late instead of I do not want to wake up late. And that's how the subconscious mind works. It eliminates the negative. So when you're framing your goal statement, keep it simple, keep it positive. And by simple, I mean it shouldn't be I want to wake up early and I want to exercise and I want to do this and I want to do that. A simple sentence that I want to do one thing, because that's where we get in the focus, that we channel the energy and we channel the tasks and the next steps that we want to take towards that goal. That's the first thing about doing a goal statement, defining it. And how do we define it? Is a simple positive sentence. The second bit is visualize your goal. And this is a slightly more complicated sort of concept, but I do want to put forth because when we engage all our senses is when our mind is truly engaged. So, for example, and what I mean by visualizing your goal, say I want to wake up at 6 a.m. is my goal. So if I close my eyes, I can visualize what 6 a.m. looks like, whether the sun is up, whether I can hear birds chirping, what my environment is like. For an easier example, so let me take an example of, say, I want to build a beach house as a retirement house. Now, when I visualize that goal as an individual, I can see the beach. I can see the waves in the mind when I close my eyes, breeze. I can smell the sea. So then when I'm visualizing it with all my senses, because the sea is something I've seen, so I can go back and draw in on the memory and sort of build that goal very firmly. When my mind looks at it like that, it works subconsciously even more towards achieving that. So when you have a goal, first of all, articulate it simply in a positive sentence. Second is if you can visualize it, if you can engage all your senses in feeling it. If I'm running a marathon, what does the finish line look like? If I'm running a great project, what does the end of it look like? And that's how you train your mind to work towards the positivity of it as well. The next bit about a goal is, again, I'm drawing from the bit of definition. Because if I can't define my boundaries, I can't define where I'm operating from and what I want to get to, I won't be able to get to it. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is SMART goals. And that's an acronym again as well. So SMART. So the S stands for specific. So what needs to be accomplished? That is, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. So one way to say it is I want to wake up early. That's my goal. But what is early? So then I define it as I want to wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever it is in terms of specificity. What needs to be accomplished? Then second is measurable. How do I know I've achieved my goal? How will I measure it? So have I achieved my goal by waking up at 6 a.m. just once a week, one day in a week, or 2 days in a week, or all 7 days in a week? So how do I measure it? So even in professional life, we have your that's the bit of measuring. And one tip or trick or hack or whatever you want to call it here is when we have example of it, but it is a powerful example. If I was in pain and I went to a doctor, pain is intangible, it's very subjective. So they may ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level like? And I will say 3 out of 10, and they'd be okay. You're at 3, so means you can still bear it. If I say I'm a 10 out of 10, they know they need to do something. So whenever it's an intangible concept, put it on a scale just to be able to understand 1 to 10. It may not be accurate, it may not be empirical, but at least to get a gauge of where I stand, where my team stands, and that's the measurable aspect of it. The third is of SMART is achievable. What am I going after? Is it even achievable? And here the example is of Mount Everest. I can climb Mount Everest. That is proven. We can do it. But can I do it in 2 days? If I say my goal is to climb Mount Everest in 2 days, is that even achievable? So being aware of what can be done, cannot be done. So the third bit is achievable. Next is relevant. What is driving me to get to that goal? If my goal is to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, what is the relevance in my life? Is it because I've seen an influencer who says that all CXOs and all leadership team members get up at 6 a.m. every day, so I want to get up at 6 a.m. every day? Or do I want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day because I want to get in my workout, I want to get in some work done, I want to do something with, my time that I get? What is the relevance? What is driving me towards this goal of 6 a.m.? And of course, is timeline and time bound. What is the timeline within which I want to achieve it? This is more for the larger goals. I've taken a 6 a.m. So do I want to consistently wake up at 6 a.m. for 3 months? As professionals, we may have time bound goals of we need to achieve something, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and that's what it is. Without a timeline, it can just be an open concept. I want to do something, but within what timeline? Do I want to do in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 1 month, 2 months? What is that timeline? Because without that timeline, I don't even know how to structure the next thoughts, which will get covered in RO and W. So this is the bit about actually defining your goal. And this isn't sacrosanct. When I go to R, O, and W, I may have to come back to this step because I may have to redefine a few things once I cover those steps. It's an iterative process, but we work on it within a structure so that at least we have a starting point to it. So the next thing about grow, the R is reality. And that means only facts. By that I mean, so I'm in Mumbai right now, and we have had a heat wave warning in this week. So everyone is out saying it is very hot, I feel very hot. But is that something that I would consider as reality as per grow model? No, because that's still my perception. So reality as per grow model is something that is fact, that is which is temperature. So today in Mumbai, the temperature was 40 degrees Celsius. That is reality. That is a fact check. Whether I feel hot, I feel cold, whether I think something is an opinion. It is my feeling, it is my perception. of that state, of that situation, and of what I'm in. But the verifiable fact is that it was 38 or 40 degrees today in Mumbai. And that's when we need to sort of get in reality when we're going after the goal. So let's take the example of I want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. The reality. What time do I wake up right now? Do I wake up at 11 a.m. and I want to wake up at 6 a.m.? The reality also has to tie back into what time am I sleeping to wake up at 6 a.m. And these are hard facts. It's not I think I can do it or I feel I can do it. It is taking very honest talk of the exact situation I am in currently in relation to my goal. And that's where the reality bit becomes quite important for us to focus on. After reality comes options. And options means I know this is my goal. This is my goal statement. I have figured out the smart goal statements. I have considered my reality. Now the options is what can I do about it? What are the different means to achieve what I want to go after? And options is a very interesting bit to consider because when we talk about options, more often than not, we're looking, and as a coach, I'm going to also say that it's a great space to be in, which is looking at the optimistic bit of it. That is, what all can go right. This is option A, this is option B, this is option C towards my goal. But the thing that I've also put on screen is mapping the consequences. And again, goals and this concept ties very neatly into various concepts of economics, physics, biology, mind, all of it. So here I'm going to draw on physics, and Newton's philosophy, or the principle of every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So when I choose option A to go with, I have to be very, very mindful of the outcomes of it. And what I mean by that is there are positive outcomes, which I think, by going with option A, I've already thought of the positive outcomes, that this is how it will pan out. But there are outcomes which are not favorable as well. And what I mean by that is the fact that, let's take the scenario of at work, I get promoted. So the best outcome for me is I get promoted, I get the appraisal I want, I have everyone's back, and I'm doing really, really well at work. And that is the best outcome for me. Like, the option that I've done everything right and that works for me. Now, if I have to look at the flip consequence, mapping the consequences, what am I willing to let go? Is the fact that there may be some colleagues who may be a little resentful, who may not work with me well, who may sort of be that hurdle in when I want to go ahead. So that's what I mean. Even in my best outcome, there could be a consequence that will affect the way I work, affect the way I go towards my goal. So in the option stage, we have to map out both. If I choose option A, what is the consequence that I actually want out of it? And what is a consequence that could come out of it that may not be as great as I would want it to be? And I agree. Most of it is not in our purview. We cannot anticipate it. But at least being aware of the fact that there could be something that, if I do action or task A, there could be something that can, affect me. So what am I willing to let go is a very, very basic and very important question when we're doing goals and goal achievement. Is because if I choose something, I have to let go of something. It's always a trade-off. More often than not, that trade-off is what determines our action. So what am I willing to let go is an important question for us to answer when we're looking at the different options that we want to take to achieve our goal. And W of the GROW model is the way forward or the way. So what way forward actually does is, this is actually the execution part. So we've considered our goal statement, we've considered our reality, we've considered our options, And the last bit is, how do I put all of this into tasks that I can execute on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis? Um, and making sure I adhere to it. So way forward, again, I will draw in from an economics concept of willing and able. If I want to achieve a goal, there are two things when I'm doing the tasks that I want to do A, B, C, D, E every day to work towards my goal. There are two very important things at play. The very first one is, am I willing to do this? So when I sit and take an honest talk of, this is what I need to do, I've listed down my options and this is what I really have to do to get towards my goal. The first bit is, am I willing to do these things? Put in that time, sacrifice that time, take that extra initiative, whatever it is. Am I willing to do it? Number one. The second is, am I able to do it? Because I may be in a situation where I'm willing to do everything. But as an adult with professional and personal commitments, am I able to do it? Does my skill set allow it? Does my situation allow it? Because if either is missing, I can't go after my goal. I could be willing, but my skill set doesn't allow me, so I can't achieve that goal. I'll have to build on that skill set. It's not that I can never do it, but I have to first build on the skill set that I need. Or I have the skill set, but I'm not willing to do it. I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. I want to wake up at 11 a.m. I'm not willing. So when either is missing, I can't go after my goal. Because one needs the other to be able to go after it. So this, in an essence, is what the grow model is. And the last bit of the grow model is the fact of, how do I hold myself accountable? Because more often than not, we have elaborate plans, we sort of put together things, we want to work towards things. It lasts for the first 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month. But after that, how do I hold myself accountable? What do I need to do? Do I need to partner up with my friend, my spouse, my family member? Tell them that, what, hey, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going after. And can you check in on me every day? That I have said that I will do these 5 things every day towards my goal. Will you check in on me? Or am I going to maintain my own tracker to be able to check in on myself and hold myself accountable? These things may seem very basic, and that's why I appreciated when Arunji went to very obvious basic things, is because in our daily rigmarole, we have so many things to do as adults, a full life, is that we may tend to miss these smaller, very basic things. Accountability is always for someone else in our professional life or personal life. But when we are going after a goal, we have to bring that accountability to ourselves. We have to bring that willingness to ourselves. We have to bring that ability to ourselves. We have to bring the reality to ourselves. It is easier to point out someone else's reality than my own. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about the grow model today, because in practical application, that's how we approach it. And that's how we sort of look at how things are to be done. And this is something that can work across personal and professional. Something that I think is so powerful if we sit down and just think about it. Take 15 minutes of your life and do the grow model. It's the focus of the 15 minutes. It's dedicated time, attention to your goal that will get you there, and the grow model gives you that structure. And before I conclude, I have a few resources that I want to share with everybody so that you can go and read up about it by yourself. Of course, once you read up, please don't go ahead and coach anyone. Read it up as academic knowledge, read it up as something to understand your own mind. Read it up as something that you may want to take up as a career as a coach, which is coaching for performance. The Grow model is by Sir John Whitmore. The Inner Game of Tennis. NLP. So NLP is the concept where I said that the goal has to be a simple positive statement. It draws in from how the mind works and the science of it. And before I conclude, I want to talk to you about the hero's journey as a concept. In our daily life, we face a lot of ups and downs. And what the hero's journey does as a concept is celebrate our milestones. More often than not, it's very easy for us to remember the negative experiences, that I did this and this happened. And they're important because it frames our ability to deal with situations. That if, as a person, I did not associate hot with fire and that it causes pain, I would go and put my hand into that pile of fire again and again. So the negative experiences, the pain and the fear also have a part in our life. But the hero's journey celebrates the milestones that at a certain age that I am, or a designation that I have gone through certain experiences. I have achieved certain milestones to get here. This concept is for when we are feeling work, and the hero's journey is when it helps. And the hero's journey is not just about celebrating the bigger things, it's about celebrating every milestone. Let's say that my goal is to wake up at 6 a.m. I may want to celebrate that from waking up at 11 a.m., I've woken up consistently at 6 a.m. for 7 days. That's something to acknowledge to yourself. And that's what the hero's journey does. It tells us that, hey, you're an individual who has been through various experiences. Now look back on the experiences where you have come forth, powered through, you have gone from situation A to B. And this is important because it helps us to think of ourselves in a positive light. It reminds us that there are strengths, there are skills, there are things that we can put to work to achieve our goal. And that's why it's important. More than anything else is telling ourselves that we're enough, that we have been through situations, through difficult situations. All of us have been through ups and downs, and we have been able to handle them. So reminding ourselves that, yes, I've been in a situation A, I've been able to handle it, and bring that learning, bring that positivity, bring that energy into the being you are today. And look that up. It's a very, very powerful thing. It's something that I would recommend that everybody does time to time, so that we keep a very honest focus on ourselves, and not just the fact that whether we've failed ourselves, but also to remember that we have done well, we have achieved a few things. So this is what I have for you today, the GROW model, which is goal, reality, options, way forward and willingness, and a few resources that you could read up, including the hero's journey. And I'm open to any questions that anyone may have or any clarifications. And thank you for the attention. I know in some places it's late in the evening, and I'm very grateful for the attention, and I'm grateful for folks who've logged in. So thank you for that. And the floor is open for questions, comments, or anything you may want to share.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those. Arundhati. One takeaway for me is about the options, like the thing that you have to let go, like which one is you have to let go, because sometimes it's like in my opinion it's the hardest, because you think like you some of us kind of think that we want to hold on to something or to everything as far as how we can hold it. But yeah, it's really one way of doing things, like you have to let go one thing to go with the other. So yeah,
Yes.
that's my takeaway. So yes, yeah, Siva was sharing and was started the inner game of tennis, and yeah, he finds great. So yeah, would you like to ask a question or interact, Siva, or yeah, do you have any additional inputs?
Hey, thank you so much. It was a very nice presentation. I really liked it. And also thanks for sharing those resources. And one of the book that I like is the Inner Game of Tennis. So yeah, I'm still in the middle of that book, but I really like that. And I have a vision especially this is more of a startup era, and when we try to create any of the product or service, at times there are a lot of negative things or a lot of risks which outweigh the outcome of the service or the product. So how do we mitigate this challenge? Like, um, how does one overcome this self doubt or overcome the nervousness to get into the market? Any
Uh,
thoughts or suggestions that you can provide?
so Siva, great question. When we're also thinking of, and this is from professional helm of product services that you want to launch, um, a good check is also, of course, not getting into the business aspect of it, whether it is mandated by the audience, whether it's a need, etc., is also going through what am I looking at in terms of a product, and what am I willing to let go is also very applicable to the product. So because if I'm choosing to do A for a certain audience or a certain target sector, and I'm willing to do these things, I'm willing to let go of a few of the consequences that would come in when I roll out that product. The confidence of a product is also, of course, going through the opportunities. So I'll go back to O of the grow model, which is the outcomes. And the outcomes can be both, which is the positive outcomes that one has envisaged, and the outcomes that, maybe the consequences of rolling out, like what would happen if I do that in the market. And Siva, it's a great question. And while I did present on grow model, a lateral thought that I want to put out is bringing in models that are part of completely different work streams. Like there are five whys. Five whys is a Japanese concept, or there's a fishbone model. Bringing that in to figure out whether my product will work or not in the market. So the building the confidence, of course, also you can follow a grow model. Figure out, one is the target statement, the goal statement you're going after, the reality of who's your audience, how do they react, what is the consumption that's happening, option of we can do these 10 things, this is the positive outcome, these are the consequences that we can look after, and of course the way forward in an organization would be who can deliver on this, who do I delegate it to, what do they bring to the table, are they willing and able to do what I want them to do. um, I hope I've answered it. It's not a clear-cut answer because I don't know the product you're referring to. But the grow can be applied to the product as well. The heroes concept also can be applied to the product of, if it's an existing one that's sort of done a certain cycle, reached a certain point, and we need to be able to figure out now what next. Or if it's a new one and you're part of a team that's done projects in the past, patting yourself in the back that, hey, we have launched successful products in the past, this is one more, we'll get it right. So there are multiple ways to do it. But I think the grow model, the O option of it, is something that would be relevant. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that'll sort of make sense, at least to me.
Yep. I think philosophically, you answered it. As you said, since you don't know the thoughts, so yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
haven't gotten into this.
philosophically
Thank you.
is the right word. Because I'm not in the business context.
Yeah,
I
got
can
it.
just give you global gyan right now. But I can at least sort of point you towards where you may need to be looking.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nice, Siva. Thanks for that.
All right. And yeah, thanks for that interaction, Siva. Appreciate it. And yes, yeah, would you like to promote Rathi? Like, what does Rathi do? How it will impact India and other countries?
Yes. So in fact, I was part of the healthcare sector before I became a leadership and performance coach. And one of the reasons I became a leadership and performance coach is the fact that the healthcare sector in India doesn't have very formulated coaching interventions. There are training interventions for sure, but coaching interventions. And so that's how I took up the mandate on myself of trying to get that forth. But as a coach, I work across industries, I work across designations. I find human behavior, I find the context in which they operate very, very interesting. So for Rati, so if you're part of the healthcare sector and you want someone to be able to help you navigate to growth and goals that you need to get to, because in India the sector is so fragmented. So if you want that, someone who's worked there, I can help you in terms of setting processes and also coaching. But even otherwise, um, I just want to encourage people to talk to a coach if they're going after a goal, whether me, whether anyone else. Just seek out a coach and they will make your goal achievement so much easier, because we can help you identify blind spots, identify things that you may not even have considered. So don't go with Arundhati, but go with some coach. Get that in your life so that you can get to your goal, whether personal or professional. Get to that goal with the coach in your life.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for that one. And yes, I think that concludes the second topic that we have today. And anything else? Do you have any Sir Arun and Arundhati? Do you have anything upcoming online or any sessions or trainings? Like how can they access your services?
So, Arindhati, quick question. When you say healthcare, any specific areas within healthcare that you are focused, or is it like the overall A to Z of healthcare?
A to Z of healthcare. So when I say healthcare, I mean any organization, insurance, hospital, health tech, anyone who can affect patient experience and outcome. Because in my head, for me, the patient experience and outcome has to come right on top. So if I can help any organization positively affect that, that's what's healthcare and wellness for me. In India, there are a plethora of organizations talking with the end consumer. It could be health tech, it could be pharmacy, it could be insurance, it could be hospitals, it could be anything. But for me, patient experience and outcome. So that's where I'm working on. So any organization that works there.
So, anything that specific when you say patient care, is it like say when a member gets into the hospital, you know, you are more from a payer standpoint. So, how do you ensure the utmost care has been provided to the member? So it
So
depends on which angle you are looking as well, right? So from a payer standpoint or from a provider standpoint or
correct.
yeah.
So there are multiple angles where you're right. So, and I'll be happy to connect with you if if you drop in your credentials, I'll be happy to connect with you and talk about more about this. But from a coaching and training intervention, where I come from is, let's say, if I'm going to a hospital, I don't go there willingly. I go there because there is something that makes me want to go there. So that entire experience for a patient, and that experience and outcome is related also to how my staff is trained, what kind of insurance agent is there, how that's getting processed, to my experience when I'm speaking to a doctor. How is a doctor trained to speak to a patient? Sometimes that's what affects, the entire outcome as well. So there are many variables when I say healthcare and the outcome we're going after. I'll be happy to sort of connect with you separately to walk you through,
Sure.
but it's a very complex ecosystem to be able to explain in just a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes.
Got you. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So you're in LinkedIn, where we can catch you.
Yeah, I'm going to drop it here. I'll
Sure.
drop my full name, so you can look me up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to sort of take whatever else questions you have and whatever else you have in mind.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks for the question.
All right. Thank you. Sir Arun, yeah, you were about to say something?
Yeah. So there is
Yes.
so as of now there is no open workshop that I have announced in the recent future. But yes, most of the time I work for the corporate clients. So any organization is for leadership. One new concept which I want to develop or promote, rather, it is already developed, I want to promote, is facilitative manager, which changes completely the mindset of a manager. So many times still we are in the old era style of managing, and it's my desire that we change it and change it through the managers. So I would like to conduct a lot of sessions for facilitative training to the managers of all levels, but starting with top management.
All right. Thank you so much. And Arundhati, any upcoming sessions or upcoming coachings online?
So my one-to-one coaching sessions are always open. I haven't put out any workshops recently in terms of what to do as a group. But in case anyone wants to reach out for a one-to-one coaching session, please feel free to drop it into my DM on LinkedIn or email me at arundhati@rathi.co. That's arundhati@rathee.co, and I'll be happy to help. My main aim is to just get people to understand how coaching works and how it can help them. So, very, very happy to have conversations and guide people to the right resources that they may need. Necessarily not me, but anybody. So, hit me up on LinkedIn, Arundhati Govekar. You have my email ID, and I'll be happy to help.
All right, wonderful. So that concludes the two topics that we have today. And also, if you wish to take advantage of the services and the coaching and the trainings of our guest speakers right now, feel free to connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a message, and that also will widen your network as well. So, today was a wonderful session. Thank you so much, speakers, for the knowledge that you impart and the way you talk. Really, experience is there. So it always like it sounded from your personal experience, and that is the goal about these webinars that we do, to hear the information, but with this the experience of the seasoned guests that we have today. So if you wanted to check on our like previous sessions, you can visit www.letustalkit.com. And if you wish to, if you are a corporate or in management as well, in IT services, and you wanted to check the services of Cogent, you can visit www.cogentibs.com. And this has been a great session today. Again, we thank you. And for those who have watched live as well and joined in, thank you so much for your interaction and watching the live session. If you have missed this session, you can visit our Let Us Talk It YouTube page. Just put Let Us Talk It, and then you'll be able to see there the recorded sessions of this webinar and the previous webinars as well. So we would like to invite you again next Wednesday, the same time, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another session, two new guest speakers and two new topics that we will be inviting. All right. So again, this is Let Us Talk It Zipinar. Thank you so much, and we bid you goodbye for now, and see you again next Wednesday. And take care as always. Keep safe, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
and
having us.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.